So let's complain about the trash job market together.
So much fun.
It's Nicole. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving all of you my tips, tricks, ideas, and advice for getting a summer job as a college student. This could also work for high school students. I am a freshly graduated senior who is just completing my degree required internship, so I have spent the last 4 years learning how hard it can be to move back to your hometown for only 3 months and struggling to find employment. So stick around if you want to learn how I landed a summer job that not only allowed me to work, but to work 40+ hour weeks at a pool store, making a pretty decent amount of money and acquiring some pretty interesting customer service experiences. Rich Karens and Kens and expensive pool chemicals make for a very interesting mix. If you want me to make a video about those little stories, comment that down below. The whole time I was working there, I continued getting calls from places I had applied, even though I already had a job, so I feel like I was doing something right. Before I begin, don't forget to subscribe. I have some other college-related videos if that's what you're into, and I also take requests. So I'm gonna have timestamps down below, but first we're going to talk about in-person employment do's and don'ts, all the things you should or shouldn't do when trying to find just a regular in-person sort of job. I worked very hard to avoid fast food, but these tips will also apply to those sorts of situations, even though I was in retail. Do use Indeed.com, the job search engine. Don't go wandering around physically. In my opinion, that's a huge waste of gas and time. Everything's pretty much online these days, and you can find some really obscure things that you wouldn't have thought of if you're checking job listings online. Literally go to the map application on your phone and just zoom in and just kind of look at what businesses are around your area, because you might not even realize some establishments were even there. Like, you might end up working somewhere no one else might have thought to apply, and when you found a business that looks interesting on there, just go to their website or call them to see if they're hiring. Consider seasonal jobs. You know who needs employees desperately during summer when everyone else needs them short-term during Christmas? Pool stores. Also, you can consider tanning salons, public pools, the YMCA, dog walking or sitting, babysitting for those kids that are now out of school for the whole summer, teaching driver's ed classes, I've heard pays pretty well, summer school tutoring. Since you are a university student, you could probably help with high school subjects. Basically just start thinking outside of the box about what's busy or in demand in your area during summer and try to go for that. If you live by a beach, that could be really beneficial. Do apply like only a week or two before you come home for the summer. These jobs not only have a fast turnover rate, but a fast hiring process. I started applying during spring break the first time, and even if a place interviewed me and liked me, they needed me in there like yesterday, and they would have no idea what they needed in a couple of months. So don't let the fact that you don't have a job yet during like dead week or finals week stress you out, because odds are you will find someone who needs you in immediately when you get home for whatever pay. Any pay is good pay as a college student because it's pay. I made $8.50 an hour at Leslie's Pool Supply. Keep in mind, this is Oklahoma. We're like the 3rd cheapest state to live in the entire country, but I also was making like time and a half during the weeks that I worked overtime, and I ended up making way more money than my friends did who were making like $11+ an hour because they were working like 5 hours a week while I was working 40 every single week. Now for the don'ts, don't be picky about your hours on the application. Literally, when you get the application, check every single time and day available on there. Morning, afternoon, and night. Like, you never know what they're actually gonna need. I put down every single day and time for my job at Leslie's, and then later I weaseled my way out of working weekends and mornings simply because I was the only person who asked to get those days off after agreeing on paper to work them. So just go with the flow. Okay, so I know I just offered up a bunch of ideas for summer jobs that are temporary, very much like summer 3-month jobs, and do try for those. But if you must work a regular long-term job while knowing you're gonna leave in 3 months, here's how to do it.
All right, listen closely. I'd like to help you, but I can't. I also do not advise you to fill out and file a WS-2475 form with our legal department on the 2nd floor. I'd like to help, but there's nothing I can do.
Don't tell them you're moving back to school in 3 months. These dead-end jobs are literally looking for any reason to hate you. From my experience, I was all too ready to act like some sort of educated young lady who was ready to bring such intelligent customer service to the table, and a woman literally dismissed me right in the middle of an interview and made me cry low-key because I offered up this information when she asked. The whole higher education thing makes you look overqualified. That's just the way it is. It's the tea. It's the real truth. They don't want someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm a 4.0 student, I'm the president confident of my organization, I'm highly intelligent, and I'm gonna like ditch this popsicle stand at the end of the summer when I've got my money. Like take my money and my dignity and get the hell out. They kind of want locals who are like committed to this company, who kind of want to work there like the rest of their life. The sad thing is, everyone I know who gets entry-level jobs easily lies. Disclaimer, don't do this sort of thing for like a real after college sort of job. Odds are you want to keep that kind of job long term, and you're gonna need to play up your strengths and show how qualified you actually are. Those kind of jobs do want driven people, but as far as just a 3-month little summer job for like $10 an hour waiting tables, if they ask about school, tell them you're either financially unsure if you're going to be able to return in the fall, or your grades aren't looking too good. Say you don't know what your grades are for the previous semester, like there's just really no telling. Or you could even say that even if you do continue school, like you'll have classes only 1 or 2 days a week and you'll be able to come back and work shifts. Like just say whatever you need to say, because the way I see it, they don't ask other possible employees like, hey, what are you doing in 3 months? But most of them are gone within a few months, sometimes even a few weeks. Even if employees don't really intend to leave, these jobs have such a high turnover. Like they could end up coming to the job thinking that they hate it and then leaving 2 weeks later with absolutely no warning. So I don't really see any difference that your leave is intentional and planned. At the end of the summer, after saying you were financially unsure, you can just be like, well, it looks like I've somehow come into some money. I've made some money in the past 3 months. Who'd have thought? For me, that was really funny because I started acting like I was thinking I would drop out at every interview after that one horrible one. And I walked into the interview at Leslie's, and one of the first questions he asked me was, so you're in school, right? Because I did put down my education on the application. And I said, yeah. And I was about to continue with, oh, but I don't know if I'll go back. Like it's up in the air right now. Who knows? And he interrupted me and he started saying, oh, I think that's so amazing that you're in school, that you're trying to do something with your life, that you have that responsibility of holding yourself accountable, like away from your parents. And I was a little bit stunned because that was not the reaction that I had previously gotten or was expecting in this scenario. So he said that and I immediately changed my tune to, oh yes, I love school.
Oh yes, I love to read.
But I did feel a little bit better taking that job because like that's the truth. I don't want to work at Leslie's Pool Supplies until I'm 40, and it felt comfortable because my boss like valued education like I did. Like it wasn't some gross, weird environment to work in. So that was the ideal situation for me. Don't go in immediately just bashing your educational experience, but times are tough, especially now. This was back in 2019. So if you must, lie a little. You might not want to put in a 2 weeks notice at the end. This is also like terrible behavior that you should never do in the actual real world after college, but oh my god. I did put in a notice at Leslie's because I wanted to work there again the next summer, but if you literally don't care about that place, work until the very last day you want to work and then just leave. They do not respect you. I've had so many people in college tell me that they put in the 2 weeks notice and then their boss would say, well, how about let's just make today your last day then. They were fired immediately, or whatever like small town joint they were flipping burgers at. They don't respect you. Like they take it personal. It doesn't even matter what your reason for leaving is. I even only worked 1 day out of the 2 weeks after I put in my notice. They just like sped it up for me. So maybe I shouldn't have even done that either. I should have taken my own advice. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some alternative money-making ideas. I know it's really hard to get in-person employment right now. I was completely unemployed the entire summer of 2020. It was just so much harder. So I do make some money off YouTube. It's not much, and it's definitely the sort of thing that like builds over time. I didn't make any money the first 4 months I did YouTube, but once you're making money, it's like your thing. No one can take that from you. No one can fire you. You're literally still making money even when you're not uploading. Like while I'm sleeping, I'm making money. There are plenty of videos on YouTube over how to start a channel. If you want to hear from my own experience, and if you want a video for how I started making money on YouTube, please let me know down in the comments. Another option for something a little unconventional is transcriptionist jobs. Why do I feel like with that build-up people are thinking that I was gonna say OnlyFans? I mean, you do you, that's an option too. Transcriptionist jobs, these are super helpful because they are online and remote and you like choose your own hours. I'm under a contract with 3Play Media. This isn't sponsored or anything, I just found them online. I'm sure there are a ton of other companies, but that's a good one to check out if you want to work online from home. Basically, you're just creating subtitles for audio or video files. I'll leave a link to their website down below. I also have made money taking part in paid studies. I will warn you, there are a ton of scams out there, so you need to do your research. I'll list off the ones that have paid me actual money and not just gift cards. By the way, these these are also not sponsored. The first one is consumerlogicresearch.com. I did a pizza taste test with them back in 2018. I just showed up at this like hotel conference room they held it at, and I ate 3 slices of pizza and I wrote down what I thought about each slice, and then I left and they paid me like $150, I think. The second one is focusgroupconnection.com. I'll leave both of these links down in the description. I did at least one with this last one just a couple months ago. I did a Zoom meeting with them where they asked me and a bunch of other participants about like politics and stuff. It was kind of like a group discussion. I think it was an hour and a half, and I earned $125 for that online meeting. They just sent me a check in the mail. The only downside to these is you won't qualify for a lot of the studies, but when you do, I mean, it's nice. It's like a good chunk of money. You're not gonna make $125 in 1 hour anywhere else. It's just like inconsistent. Just make sure you turn on the email alerts for these companies so that you know when there is a new study available, so you can fill out the pre-screen and then you'll be selected from there. So those are just a couple types of those research companies. I'm sure there are a ton more out there, but be careful. As I said, a lot are scams. So I think that is all of my advice for obtaining summer employment while being a college student. Please drop any tips you have down below or share your experiences. I reply to every single comment. So let's complain about the trash job market together. It's so much fun. Guys, I know these jobs suck the absolute life out of you. It's just so, not like degrading, but when you're in college trying to eventually get a job in a field you're very interested in, it just feels awful to go back home for the summer to like wait tables or sell chlorine. But just pull through. You'll have a nice stack of cash at the end for your savings, and before you know it, you'll have your degree and you'll be working at a relevant job. I'm still waiting for that time to come, but we're gonna get there. I gotta trust the process. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave it a like if you did, and I will see you all next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye, guys.